Once upon a time, in the picturesque hills of Austria, there lived a girl named Lina. She wasn't born into royalty, didn't have a fancy house, and wasn't waited on by servants. Lina was a simple shepherd, spending her days with her flock of sheep on lush green meadows. One breezy afternoon, as her sheep were happily grazing near the edge of a forest, Lina heard a deep voice that startled her. "What are you doing here, little girl?" Turning around, she saw a tall, stern-looking man dressed in fine clothes sitting on a black horse. His presence exuded importance. Lina, though unfazed, calmly replied, "I'm watching my sheep, sir." The man couldn't help but smile at her composed response. "You seem like a clever girl. Tell me, what is the quickest way to my castle?" With a polite smile, Lina replied, "The quickest way is not always the shortest, sir. If you rush, you might get lost." The man threw back his head and laughed. "Very well. You've amused me. Come to my castle tomorrow. I want to test your wisdom." And with that, he rode away, leaving Lina wondering about the strange request. The next day, as the sun peeked over the hills, Lina set out for the Duke's castle, curious about the challenge that awaited her. As she approached the imposing castle gates, a servant came forward and handed her a sealed message. "The Duke requests your presence inside," the servant announced, handing her the message and stepping back. With a slight nod, Lina opened the message. It read, "Come to the castle gate tomorrow as you wish. But remember, neither by foot nor by horse, neither fully dressed nor undressed, and neither alone nor with company." Lina pondered the cryptic instructions. She knew the Duke was testing her, but the riddles he posed were intriguing. How could she possibly follow these rules? She thought about it all night and into the next morning. And when the sun rose, she had a plan. Dressed in her finest clothes, she put on a fishing net over them, making it clear that she was dressed but not fully. She brought a small puppy along, not exactly company, but not alone either. She walked towards the castle, not running, not walking, so she was moving but not exactly quickly. By the time she reached the castle, the Duke was waiting impatiently at the gate. When he saw Lina approaching, he couldn't help but break into a wide grin. "You are indeed a clever girl," he exclaimed as she stopped before him. "You followed my rules to the letter." Lina smiled back, her eyes sparkling with intelligence. "It was a pleasure to test my wits against yours, Duke." The Duke, impressed by her resourcefulness, gestured for her to enter the castle. "I want to make you an offer," he began, and Lina listened attentively. "I want you to live here in the castle as my advisor, using your sharp mind to help me with my problems." The Duke hoped that this offer would appeal to her, but Lina surprised him with her next words. "Thank you for the offer, Duke," she said politely, "but my place is with my sheep." The Duke, taken aback by her response, was left speechless. He had expected her to jump at the chance to live in the castle, not turn it down so readily. Lina continued, "I love my simple life as a shepherd, and I don't want to give it up for anything." The Duke, realizing that he couldn't persuade her to stay, respected her decision. "Very well," he said with a sigh. "If that's what you want, I won't force you to stay here against your will." He then reached into his robe and took out a small pouch, which he handed to Lina. "Here," he said, Take this as a gift from me. May it serve as a reminder of your visit." Lina, touched by his generosity, accepted the pouch. "Thank you, Duke. It was an honor to meet you." The Duke watched as Lina turned to leave. A mix of emotions swirling within him. He had been ready to be impressed by her cleverness, but her honesty and humility had won him over even more. He called out to her, "Wait, Lina." She turned back, her eyes questioning. "Yes, Duke?" The Duke hesitated for a moment, then said, "If you ever need help or advice, you know where to find me. This castle will always be open to you." Lina smiled, touched by his kindness. "Thank you, Duke. I won't forget your generosity." With that, she turned and walked away, leaving the Duke standing at the castle gate, his thoughts a jumble of admiration and respect. As the news of Lina's visit spread through the kingdom, people began to call her the shepherd girl who outsmarted the Duke. Some saw her as a symbol of courage, standing up to a powerful Duke, while others admired her humility and honesty. No matter how they saw her, Lina remained the same humble shepherd girl, content with her life and the respect she had earned. She continued to tend to her sheep in the green meadows, their gentle bleating a constant melody in her ears. Occasionally, she would visit the Duke, not as his advisor, but as a friend. They would engage in lively discussions about various topics, the Duke finding solace in her down-to-earth wisdom. Lina never forgot the Duke's gift, the small pouch filled with gold coins. It became a symbol of their unique bond, reminding her of the day she outsmarted the Duke. Whenever she saw the sheep, it brought a smile to her face, knowing that they were the reason for her unexpected adventure. From that day on, Lina's life took an unexpected turn. People no longer saw her simply as a shepherd girl. They recognized her as a young woman of remarkable wit and integrity. Her story became a local legend, passed down through generations, inspiring awe and admiration in those who heard it. However, despite her newfound fame, Lina remained unchanged. She continued to live a simple life, tending to her sheep in the meadows and occasionally visiting the Duke for stimulating conversations. The memory of the day she outsmarted the Duke served as a reminder of her capabilities, but it never overshadowed her humility and kindness. She was, after all, just a girl who loved her sheep and the peaceful life she shared with them. The moral of the story is that true wisdom doesn't come from books or grand titles. It comes from thinking carefully, being honest, and staying true to yourself. Just like Lina, you can be really smart without showing off. So don't just think about being clever. Be kind and real, and you'll be truly wise. Remember, sometimes the simplest life is the wisest. And being honest and staying true to who you are is the greatest wisdom of all. So be like Lina, a girl who loved her sheep, and you'll find wisdom in every step of your life. Now let's play a fun game. I'll ask you some questions about the story, and if you know the answers, write them in the comments. Ready? Here's your first question. What did the Duke want to do with Lina? Well, he wanted her to be his advisor, right? That's correct. He wanted her to use her intelligence to help him with his problems. Moving on. What did Lina bring with her when she went to the castle the second time? That's right. She brought a small puppy along. And finally, what was the moral of the story? It was about being honest, staying true to yourself, and finding wisdom in everyday life.